Kongzi raised his hand to command the disciples to counterattack, shouting, "Left wing, right wing, attack. Don't let any fish slip through the net." Sweat kept appearing on his face as Kongzi gritted his teeth and forced the words out, a bunch of grasshoppers colliding with a cart. Xiao Jiao suddenly noticed an anomaly, and Guan Wugang and the monk also saw something suspicious. A spirit orb with a greenish hue, carrying the consciousness of the green silkworm, flew at an incredible speed. It soon reached the top of Qingtang Mountain, leaving everyone stunned. A confused voice rang out from the sky, "This is..." When the consciousness orb landed on Qingtang Mountain, the mountain's protective formation was shattered, and a vibration echoed through the space. The elders and disciples of the entire Qingtang Mountain were backfired by the true power of the green silkworm, and they spewed large amounts of blood. The disciples of Yuking sect were nearly all knocked away by the shockwave. Some were thrown far away, while others, unfortunately, crashed into the rooftops, feeling immense pain. Fairy Shiquan was also severely injured. She struggled to stand, worrying for all the disciples, to cause such heavy losses on the front line with just consciousness alone. Shiquan squinted her eyes, beginning to think about more distant matters. "We can't leave now. Although our primordial spirits are still with Hanju and there's a chance for rebirth, the premise is that Hanju can escape from the crossing tribulation realm." The green silkworm's consciousness hovered in the air, enveloped by demonic aura. It sneered and shouted, "The strongest is only at the 9th layer of the Dongxi realm." "How laughable," the green silkworm's primordial spirit cursed, snorting coldly, "The thief isn't on the front lines, let me see where he can hide." From a distance, he saw a statue carved with the words "Bitter cultivation leads to immortality," and he shouted, "Found it." In his vision, he saw Tiandong standing on the cliff face. He roared like thunder, "Isn't the thief running this time? Still hoping Yuking sect will protect you?" Tiandong broke into a cold sweat, his face pale with fear, constantly thinking, "It's over." Even with the sect leader and the joint effort, they can't block a blow from the green silkworm great sage. How could master possibly block it? A voice and a sword-wielding hand sounded at the same time, and Tiandong froze. A firm voice rang out, "Everyone, step back." Hanju held the heavenly Tao spirit stone, with the power of the heavenly Tao glowing in golden light. He tightly grasped the heavenly Tao spirit stone, and the tip of his sword pointed at the green silkworm's consciousness. He thought to himself, "The system can't detect him, but his consciousness has found us. The crossing tribulation realm is truly stronger than expected." His eyes not only showed determination but also a trace of killing intent. His heart raced. "I've locked on to the direction of the consciousness, just a bit closer. A little closer." The green silkworm's consciousness locked onto him, secretly assessing Hanju and the people beside him. The spirit treasure around him just broke through to the 9th layer of the foundation establishment. The consciousness noticed someone trembling behind Hanju and smiled, a little chick. The black chicken trembled, sighing inwardly, "Ah. This little chicken isn't bad, cultivation is decent. I could consider accepting him as a disciple." Wait. A divine tree rose from the ground, emitting dazzling golden light. The green silkworm's consciousness shook, and he exclaimed in surprise, "The Fusong divine tree." Through his consciousness, the green silkworm saw everything and was confused. How could such a divine tree be here? "I remember the master mentioned it, though it only existed in legend with him. This opportunity is rare, the power of the consciousness is immense." The green silkworm's eyes lit up, and he revealed an evil and sinister smile. He thought to himself, "If I can offer this divine tree to my master, if my master is pleased, maybe I can stay there." The green silkworm's consciousness immediately activated its true form. Lightning crackled, and thunder split the sky, surrounding his true form. His eyes gleamed, and his voice echoed like thunder in a clear sky, "This divine tree, I take it." His true form was enormous, towering over Qingtang Mountain, like a tiny ant. Kongzi looked up in fear at the massive true form of the green silkworm. He silently prayed, "I can only hope Elder Han runs quickly." Suddenly, a terrifying aura appeared in the sky. The power of the heavenly Tao also surrounded Hanju, who prepared to use the Sanqing formation to deal with the green silkworm's true form. The black chicken trembled but still tightly held onto Chang'an and Rong Qi. Di Chao was also held by Rong Qi. Chang'an helplessly said to the black chicken, "Brother chicken, using us as a shield is useless." In fact, Hanju was indeed a bit panicked. The system reminded, "Green Python Great Sage not detected," a series of alert messages appeared. Hanju was flustered, sweat constantly appearing on his forehead. His heart felt like ants were burning it. How can it not be detected? Isn't the crossing tribulation realm the system's limit? Suddenly, Kong Zi was struck by an aura, leaving him dumbfounded. The Green Python Great Sage suddenly appeared, and everyone didn't have time to react. His power pressed down directly, and his eyes flashed with green light, looking extremely terrifying. The system once again displayed a warning, system reminder, Green Python Great Sage, 9th layer of Crossing Tribulation Realm, newly appointed Demon Saint of the Demon Clan. Hanju closed his eyes to feel the Green Python's power approaching and mentally prepared himself, here it comes. Starting simulation trial. Sword Qi surged, carrying the destructive power of the heavenly Tao. All the power was forcefully directed forward by Hanju. The power sent everything flying, with only the massive and heavy Hell Chicken remaining unmoved. Chang'an, Rong Qi, and Tiandong were almost swept away, but fortunately, everyone grabbed the Hell Chicken and narrowly escaped. Panicked screams echoed through the space. Hanju's gaze was determined and decisive. He felt the time had come. The system displayed, notification, simulation battle has ended. Hanju's sword Qi wreaked havoc in the space. The classic scene of the killing sword flashed, and Hanju executed it with great skill. The Green Python Great Sage saw the red light flashing ahead and was surprised. That kid plans to ambush. The Green Python immediately performed his ultimate technique, waving his hand to release an imposing aura. He shouted, "Jishinjing A." He looked ahead in confusion, but the red light released by Hanju still hadn't disappeared. The aura, along with the red light, continued to flicker. It penetrated through soil and rock, flying straight toward the Green Python's position. The sky cleared up. And the sword Qi left marks wherever it passed. It carved a long trajectory, shattering the Green Python's bones, with only the lower half remaining intact. Ultimately, the Green Python Great Sage perished here. Fairy Ji Quan was stunned. The people of Yuking sect were no exception. Kong Zi, Bu Mia, Xiao Jiao, and Wu Gang were all shocked, dumbfounded as they witnessed this classic battle. The Hell Chicken, Rong Qi, Chang'an, and Tiandong also couldn't believe that Hanju was able to defeat the Green Python Great Sage at the 9th layer of the Crossing Tribulation Realm. Hanju tightly gripped the heavenly Tao Spirit Stone, and the power of the three Pure Ones aura remained unwavering. His cold face showed a trace of killing intent as he sneered, seeking death. The Green Python was defeated, its bones shattered, and its demonic aura dissipated. The sky returned to clarity and calm, with white clouds slowly drifting by. The demons were horrified to find the Green Python Great Sage's demonic aura was gone. They hastily searched around, and one demon noticed that the aura had completely vanished. He shouted, "Where did the Green Python Great Sage's aura go?" Another demon, looking at the clear sky, became even more certain that the Green Python Great Sage was dead, and he screamed in fear, "The Green Python Great Sage is dead." A series of questions and exclamations followed. How could the Great Sage die so quickly? What kind of god was this? Absurd. Upon receiving this bad news, all the Demon Clan demons fled urgently. They had lost their reliance on the Green Python and could only run for their lives. Screams erupted, "Run!" This scream served as an order, causing them to flee in panic. Hanju coldly said, his words carrying a deathly aura, "You oppress my sect, harm my clan, and you still want to escape?" He waved the heavenly Tao Spirit Stone, and Sword Qi, filled with the heavenly Tao's power, swept through, its light blinding. Like an Azura from hell, Hanju growled softly, "Demon Clan, you." The Sword Qi swirled around him. The force of the heavenly Tao rotated, locking the opponent in place, and a beast's scream filled with fear echoed, "What's happening?" As time passed, the screams became more agonizing. Kong Zi stood observing, seeing that each demon beast had a rotating aura rushing toward its body. They shouted, "It's too hot. Help!" The long-haired person said in surprise, "What's going on?" After seeing everything, Kong Zi spoke up, "It seems to be locked." Hanju raised the heavenly Tao spirit stone, and the power and force were clearly visible. An aura, carrying strength, rushed directly toward the ground, causing the rocks to vibrate. The intertwined lights were chaotic and disordered. Hanju drew his sword from behind and cursed in his heart, "Damn it." The whirlpool of sword chi still locked onto the target, attacking both underground and in the air. A demon beast was scorched, and it raised its head to let out a painful scream. Flames and aura scorched the beast's entire body as it was engulfed by the blinding fire. Then, the sky began to stir, with dazzling fireworks that were impossible to follow. They flew into the sky and then exploded beautifully. Shi Quan looked from afar and could see them blooming in the air. Her face was covered in dust from the battle with Qingman. Shi Quan looked up at the fireworks in the sky and sighed, "These fireworks are so beautiful." But these were no ordinary fireworks. After the explosion, flesh and blood scattered on the ground. Continuous fireworks exploded in the air, accompanied by the corpses of demon beasts. Dian Jifu stood there, staring blankly as the demon clan's bodies were destroyed. And Qingman's body, he knew, the demon saint was killed with one sword strike in the crossing tribulation realm. Dian Jifu thought, so that immortal has always been in hiding at Yuking sect. He stood there looking at the continuous mountain ranges, breaking out in a cold sweat. No wonder after coming to Yuking sect, the curse disappeared. It seems that the curse Qingman felt was a warning from that immortal. That means this guy stubbornly went on a rampage. In the end, he met with death. Dian Jifu had a wish in his heart, "If I get the chance, I hope to meet that old senior. Even if I have to serve as a mount, it's fine." Hanju stood there holding the heavenly Tao spirit stone, looking toward the direction of the sword strike that had caused the devastation. A large pit was carved out of the mountain in front of him, and the victim's end was here. The system prompted, "You have killed a crossing tribulation realm existence for the first time and received the heavenly Tao spirit stone." Hanju held the heavenly Tao spirit stone and couldn't help but feel puzzled. The jailbird cheered happily, "Master is too powerful. Unbeatable in the world." Chang'an also raised his hand and shouted, "Woo." At this moment, Dong Qi still couldn't figure out what had happened, stammering, What happened?" The jailbird continued cheering, "Great master. Great master. Great master." Dong Qi, not understanding what was going on, followed behind. Chang'an walked over to Hanju and said, "Master was right, focusing on cultivation is the right path." He turned to Dong Qi and said, "Cheer, from now on, you must spend all your time on cultivation to defeat the enemy." Dong Qi excitedly replied, "Yes, master." Tiandong stood behind, observing everyone for a while, and couldn't help but feel puzzled. Qingman the great sage is so strong, I know that well, almost invincible. He then remembered the sight of Qingman's corpse, the existence that brought endless despair to others was actually killed by master. At this thought, he couldn't help but feel terrified. Tiandong widened his eyes and secretly sighed, "So the strongest person has always been by my side, but I was chasing after illusory power, searching the world. Today, I truly have no face-to-face master." Hanju walked past Tiandong, and his words shocked Tiandong, "Still here? Did you kneel today?" Tiandong was drenched in cold sweat. He widened his eyes and looked at him, then stammered, "And not yet." Hanju kept walking, leaving a remark, "Then hurry up and go." You walked briskly, not forgetting to remind Tiandong, "From now on, if you dare run out without my consent, will you? Our teacher-student bond is severed, and I will no longer interfere with your life or death." Tiandong, feeling relieved, quickly replied, "Yes, master." While cleaning the battlefield, everyone was busy repairing the damaged areas from the battle. Someone shouted, "The Elder of Godslaughter is here." Everyone scrambled in a panic. What? Where? Hanju walked to the front, and everyone's gaze focused on him, all praising, Elder of Godslaughter. Forever a god. Elder Han, the glory of humanity. Longevity without limits. Boundless blessings, I am willing to bear children for you. Hanju reminded Kuan-zi, don't let your guard down. I feel that things are not as simple as they appear. The elder understood his hint, and Kuan-zi pointed at an object ahead, then turned and said, is Elder Han referring to this? Both of their gazes locked onto the huge bone joint ahead, and Hanju confirmed, exactly. The previous move couldn't destroy this weapon, it's not simple. Kuan-zi looked at the bone and couldn't help but be surprised. What? What exactly is this? He fell into thought, beginning to meditate. Clearly, this is no ordinary object. No wonder the heavenly snake great saint couldn't be cursed. It turns out this magic treasure is behind it. This is just a small-scale operation. The old man will be here soon. Hanju walked to the bone, placing his hand on its surface and said, let's first confirm if this is an ownerless object. As his hand touched the bone, an aura traveled through it, and he muttered softly, divine awareness enter. After the aura penetrated, it directly entered his divine awareness. Hanju was shocked to find a space inside, and he felt a little confused. But soon, his gaze shifted upward, and he showed surprise as he noticed an aura. On the screen, the image of the heavenly snake great saint appeared, and he was stunned. The split soul is the heavenly snake great saint. Ahead, there were two bright green orbs of light, and the light passing through them allowed one to see outside. The person's eyes were tightly shut but suddenly opened, frowning. His eyes flickered with two red lights. And his deep, inscrutable gaze scanned ahead like a detector. The aura in his eyes rapidly released. On the outside, Hanju was repelled by the heavenly snake great saint's aura and took a few steps back. Hanju shouted, and Kuan-zi anxiously asked, Elder Han, are you all right? He moved his hand off the bone, withdrew his divine awareness, and a trace of worry flashed in his eyes as he thought, as expected, there's someone behind this. Hanju quickly performed the 6 paths soul absorption technique, with golden light and aura shooting into the air. Immediately, the giant bone joint on the ground was shrunk. He breathed a sigh of relief. Fortunately, I was quick enough. Otherwise, this guy would definitely come after me for revenge along with the split soul. This oppressive feeling is only something I've seen in the Sword Dao River. Suddenly, the system screen popped up and reminded, system prompt. Hanju quickly turned to look at the system screen and blurted out, what? The screen displayed the heavenly snake great saint's 8-layer scatter immortal realm, with 6 stars of hatred because you killed his demon pet. The split soul is full of resentment, waiting to cause trouble for you after you ascend. Hanju was horrified. 8-layer scatter immortal realm. Hanju held the bone and thought to himself, after I ascend, won't he be able to come down and find me? Hanju carefully stared at the bone, his eyes showing a hint of seriousness. You're lucky, the heavenly realm is powerful but can't come down to the mortal realm. Is this the arrangement? Or is it restricted? He said with some worry, so after ascending, I won't be able to return? Hanju held the bone, looking up at the sky, feeling a little puzzled in his heart. The problem is, after ascending, can I still cultivate peacefully like before? Since I've spent most of my time up there, casually ascending isn't wise. I'll prolong it if I can. Let's see what you can do to me then. In Qinwu sect of Xiuan continent, the surrounding mountains undulated, and screams echoed in the space. The heavenly snake great saint is dead. He was killed with one sword strike by the Elder of Godslaughter. It seemed hard to believe, and the tone was full of shock. What? The discussions in the main hall about this matter were intense and lively. People kept asking, the heavenly silk great saint is dead? How is that possible? That's a realm of catastrophe. Others expressed curiosity about the Jade Clear sect. I think I've heard of this sect's name. Some even admired, saying, who exactly is the Elder of Godslaughter? Zhu Jian sighed, well, what a Jade Clear sect. His disciple, Jihao, happily shouted with pride. As expected, it is the elder